Hey everyone, so this video happened much sooner than I thought I was going to make it, but I got really excited, so here it is. So I wanted to make a video on Sojourn and how I think we can fix her. It's not going to be as long as the Doomfist series where we had to like dissect each one of his moves because he's completely just on the floor, bottom tier. But yeah, so hers is going to be it's easier, kind of easier to do if you get what I'm going to be saying. So yeah, Sojourn is easily the character right now that most people think needs to be nerfed, and I would agree. However, what I don't agree on is the severity of the nerfs that she needs. But before we get into how to nerf Sojourn, I think it'll be important for us to look at what she brings to the table compared to what all the other DPS characters like her bring to the table. Soldier is like the Mario of Overwatch. For those of you who play Smash Bros, you know that means that he's just a super stable all-around character. He's a nice tracking base shooter, has nice consistent damage, has a cute burst damage skill, and can heal himself. And also, he can run, giving him a small but consistent level of mobility, but nothing too crazy, right? He doesn't really jump with it or anything like that. He's just an all-around reliable and safe character that everybody loves. McCree's like the other side of a soldier. Instead of nice stable damage, he's one of the best at burst damage, but close range. He's more of a flick shot character with no real mobility. However, goodness gracious, when he hits, it fucking hurts. In my day, I would use him against tanks because his fan the hammer, roll, then fan the hammer combo did a crazy amount of damage in such a short amount of time. So yes, burst damage, flick shot, mid-range, no mobility. Widow, you already know. Snipey sniper. Longest range, highest burst damage. You already know what it is. You know what time it is. She has a skill for repositioning and escaping, but I wouldn't really call that high mobility. It's more of something that's needed if you're going to be a sniper. And Ashe, I never really thought about what Ashe's role was. She was like a half McCree, half Widow hybrid, I guess. But like kind of halfway of each of those halves, if that makes sense. Although in my opinion, she wasn't as good at either role compared to McCree or Widow. What completed her was her giant AoE dynamite attack, and her ult that you get value on without any skill of your own. I remember when I was trying to get good with her, and I decided I might as well just get good with McCree and Widow instead. But yeah, I'll say that's her role. She's an in-between of Widow and McCree, but not really there when it comes to filling each of their specific roles, if that makes sense. So now let's talk about Sojourn. She seems like a cross between Soldier and Widow, but not in a half-measure way that like Ashe is to McCree and Widow. No, she actually does what they can do almost just as well. Her primary isn't really a hit scan, and her railgun sniper ability, she really only gets that once every several seconds. And it's also like a hip shot, right? So she doesn't really need her scope. But the bullets still travel really fast, and she can get the railgun shot at a very consistent rate. She's like 80% of both of these characters, if not like 90. But yeah, let's say 80% of both of these characters with a nice little grenade attack because, why not? But her big thing that stands out more than anyone else's is her crazy mobility. She has a crazy horizontal and vertical mobility to the point where I would argue that it's as much as a defining trait for her as her railgun is. So yeah, all those are a lot of things. Now, one of the issues with Sojourn is that people hate getting one-shotted by her. But I would say on the other side of that, I personally don't like that there's no reason to play anyone else but her if you know how to play her. For example, I used to play a lot of Soldier all the time, but I just got so much more value from playing Sojourn. It didn't make any sense to not play her. Soldier is good at consistent damage, but I gotta say he's nowhere near as consistent when it comes to actually getting the kill. She's just too good at multiple roles with added mega mobility. If you can play her, you almost have to play her. Now, the devs said that they don't want to rush any changes to her because she's a bit complicated to fix. At most levels of play, essentially under Diamond, she's not OP. Her win rate is fairly even and is pretty balanced according to their numbers. But it's at the higher levels where everyone can aim and kind of knows how to move that there's a big disparity in her value. They don't want to nerf her in a way that will balance her at the top levels but ruin, where the average player plays the game. So here's what I say. They need to nerf whatever the elites are able to do that regular players can't do. So let's break this down. Let's start with what I don't think should be nerfed. What I don't think should be reduced is her being able to charge her gun from shields. I think anyone at any level can charge her gun at a similar speed, so reducing this will just make her worse in games where her stats are pretty normal and even. At regular levels, you know, they get as many railgun shots in, but they just miss a whole bunch. So the problem isn't really getting the railgun, it's what they do once they get the railgun shot. The second thing I don't think needs to be nerfed is her disruptor grenade, because again, everyone does well with it at all levels because it doesn't really require a lot of skill. So even with this, she still balanced at normal levels, meaning nerfing this will nerf her at all levels where she's not necessarily OP. Often people say either get rid of the slow effect or keep the slow effect but get rid of the damage, or reduce the size and keep both. The slowdown from this move is probably a big factor as to why people are even able to hit the railgun shot at lower levels anyways. And the damage is probably what cleans up since people miss so much. And size, it's so easy to get out of the way because you also just kind of see it coming. So I say leave this move alone. So let's get into what I think should be nerfed. Remember, we are trying to nerf things that will balance her at higher levels and will not affect her too much at the normal level. So the first thing is her mobility. Her sliding speed mixed with her size is a problem, especially her small size. At lower levels, I don't think it's that much of a problem because players don't really make use of her mobility as they do in higher levels. People slide like in a straight line forward and backwards. They don't really take high ground as they should, etc. Also, this is such a defining portion of her kit that I don't really want to see it get scrubbed. I honestly would like this to stay very close to what it is now if it's going to be touched at all. But since this is a nerfing video, since I don't really think her size can change, I would have to, it would have to be some combination of reducing the movement speed, reducing how far or high she can go, and increasing the cooldown. Maybe just the first two, but yeah, so that is one nerf I think would help the situation. Next is her railgun. At regular levels, people aren't hitting her railgun like that. And when I say like that, I mean to the point where it's a problem, where she feels very OP. They keep getting the railgun and missing. I would reduce how long she's able to hold a full charge and reduce the maximum damage to 80 and have the maximum damage of a headshot be 160. That way, when she does get a headshot, it doesn't instantly kill, you know, anybody who's not a tank. I really think those, you know, one-hit headshots should be reserved for Hanzos and Widows. So she's kind of creeping in their territory like that. She should keep her powerful burst damage, but I think her perk should be that she can shoot at any charge level like she does now, but not necessarily get an instant kill. And I still think that 80 is a lot. And plus it goes through people, so she can hit multiple people at the same time. And if you get a headshot, it's still also just, it's a ton of damage. You're just not killing everybody who's not a tank. In all honesty, I think those are the two things that need to be changed to bring her back to Earth at the higher levels of play. Because like Blizzard said, everywhere else she's not really OP. So I know they have the numbers. I know they're reviewing this stuff closely. So yeah. And yeah, that's it, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love you. I'm going to interrupt this video to remind you to like and subscribe. If 10% of the people who watch my videos were subscribed, I would be able to be a YouTube partner or be an official YouTube channel. So please, guys, help me out.